Well guys, while Boruto is still running and is 30 episodes deep already, and we haven't been exposed to much of the main characters that played a critical part of Naruto and Naruto Shippuden. Like, let's take the number one waste man Kiba for example. We don't even know if he has any kids at all. We know he's been married in a brief filler and it's canon, and maybe I'll cover this in a future video as we have done all the other characters. But it is kind of baffling that Boruto is really going at a really slow pace, and I guess they are, you know, using the legendary tactic of milking money of all of us Naruto fans. I don't know, right? They really need to get to the tuning exams. However, we'll be exploring a character that has not been totally cut off from the Boruto series, and he did play a massive role in Naruto, and that is of course Kabuto. And what has he been doing after the war? Could it be that Kishimoto decided to tell him to piss off the series? Or to be fair, I mean, Kabuto was one of the most interesting characters in the anime and he shaped the series. He's been in the anime since day one. This guy deserves some recognition in Boruto, right? Nevertheless, we'll be going into Kabuto's activities after the 4th Great Ninja War and what is he doing now, because from my perspective I would have honestly thought this guy's sucking off Orochimaru, but no, I'm joking. Like, he's always riding Orochimaru's D, but I don't know, what's he up to? Let's find out. You know, he turned out to be good again at the end, and he's a cool guy, but now he looks like a freaking snake. He looks like he got some plastic surgery, Michael Jackson up in this bitch. But let's go balls deep and dive right into this video. Even though Kishimoto and the creators alongside Naruto have been trying their best to hide away the infamous Kabuto, they have left quite a few hints in various sources, for example in the Naruto Gaiden, Sasuke Shinden and previous arc of Boruto consisting of Orochimaru and Team Taka. Well, what we would really like to understand is what has had happened to Kabuto straight after the war, since he suddenly disappeared and didn't make an appearance in either the 2 following Naruto movies, and after the anime had ended alongside the fillers, and as of recently in the Boruto series he hasn't really been showing himself. It somewhat feels like the creators are playing tricks with the viewers, purposefully urging us to like kind of forget about this character to take advantage of the situation and create maybe another arc and other major characters to take the limelight. But this time we're kind of gonna expose Kabuto. What is he currently doing? What we do know is that before Kabuto had transplanted Orochimaru's DNA into himself, was that he was always a snake, guys. This guy was the #1 backstabber and he was always a spy from day one in the tuning exams, for example. You gotta respect Kabuto though, mainly because he took an opportunity that most shinobi would die for, and that is gaining the ability of the one and only Orochimaru and becoming a sage. But we won't be dwelling too much on Kabuto's past, however focus on to getting to the point and figure out what in the hell he's been up to after that disastrous war that he played such a massive role in. So ever since Kabuto had escaped Itachi's Izanami, his mindset had drastically changed, with him doing the unthinkable of heading to the battlefield and giving Sasuke his life force and saving Sasuke's life, right? This even shows us that the true extent of the ability of Izanami and Izanagi with the Sharingans. You know, the Sharingans are a very overpowered dojutsu in the Naruto series. Anyways, the peaceful period after the war is known as the blank period, and it is known that Kabuto was mentioned in Naruto Shippuden episode 485. At this point, it was basically known that Kabuto had disappeared and just focused on himself. Along with Sasuke and Orochimaru, Kabuto was also imprisoned for a brief time. However, his gesture of rescuing and aiding Sasuke in the battle to defeat Kaguya played a massive part towards Kabuto's freedom. after the war, Lady Tsunade, the Hokage, was still in charge, and due to her merciful actions, she had issued for Kabuto to take charge of the same orphanage he was raised in. Because of him regaining his self-identity, it appears Itachi managed to wipe out all of his negative thoughts and the teachings of Orochimaru, thus allowing Kabuto to avoid the path of evil yet again. But I don't think that's kinda true, because I don't know, maybe Kabuto's still working with Orochimaru because he always seems to have a thing for him, so we have to find out later on in the Boruto series if he's been helping Orochimaru out with his experiments. So in this orphanage that Kabuto is currently running, it's quite skeptical, because let's look at Danzo, right? He ran like Anbu Black Ops with many orphans, and eventually creating such a force with the likes of Sai. And especially with Sai losing all of his emotions during this time in the Anbu. And to be fair, from our perspective, it appears that Kabuto is playing an act to take on the orphanage to create some sort of army, and we don't know. They can take this route with the Boruto series, or he may be using these orphans to help Orochimaru with his experiments. So we have to think of it this way, that Izanami did make him a good guy, but there's two sides to every story. We don't know, we just don't know. Although Kabuto was only mentioned about once or twice since the war was done and dusted, the recent arc alongside Shin Uchiha as well as Naruto Gaiden enabling us to understand the current situation of Kabuto, since the incident involving Sasuke, Naruto, Sarada and Sakura against Shin Uchiha. Once they managed to defeat Orochimaru's creation, the army of Shin Uchiha were forced to be a part of Kabuto's orphanage, and this sounds a bit too suspicious, especially with Orochimaru's creation going against him so suddenly, and it feels like both Kabuto and Orochimaru are still working together with each other to do something. I don't know what it is, but we have to keep in mind those kids had Sharingan and all of these other things, and they've both always been a snake, and we don't really know what their intentions are all the time. Kabuto's activities have seriously been a bit too quiet. We could be overestimating this idea a bit too much. You never know, Kabuto could just be chilling and really wanting to live a peaceful life from now on, like in his childhood, as he had even gone out of his way to assign them unique and individual names at the orphanage with all the children. And to be fair, this really exploits his true side that we couldn't even read at the beginning of Naruto. He was always a good guy from the start, and then Orochimaru came and all those side stories happened, and then his life got ruined. But in his true nature, he is a good guy. There is more exposure of Kabuto in Sasuke's light novel known as Book of Sunrise. This one is a bit more controversial, as it has the feeling of Orochimaru trying to bring the band back together, as Orochimaru had noted to Sasuke during his journey of retribution that Kabuto was now the director of Konoha's orphanage, alongside telling Sasuke that the three of them are not truly free. Despite their previous crimes in the Fourth Shinobi World War, they were set free by Konoha and put on parole, as Orochimaru was being monitored by Yamato as well as Anko, and Kabuto being stationed in Konoha, he wasn't really free and had much freedom of escape as well. Kabuto Post-War is the director of an orphanage and not locked up for reviving the deadliest and most honorable shinobi to have ever graced the Naruto series as we know it, and we love that. And he set them all free, right? Now, to be honest, this does sound like some corrupt judicial system. I mean, these guys have literally killed countless of people and they are set free as though they didn't do anything wrong, and it's an anime and we have to accept it. But Orochimaru had also said in the note in Sasuke's light novel is that all three of them are being used as backup for the village if any sort of presence much stronger attacks the village, such as the Otsutskis. Their abilities will come to use for the village, especially with Kabuto mastering the Ido Tensei Jutsu and him being a massive asset to the village. Kabuto, since the Fourth Shinobi War, has also mastered Sage Mode that Orochimaru had passed on to him, allowing us to understand that he must have spent this time during the blank period training his jutsu. What Kabuto had managed to establish with Konoha's orphanage was to be able to branch it out as though it was a business, because during Kabuto's fillers we were showcased the orphanage and it wasn't the best, right? However, Kabuto's aspiration had become a reality. With Naruto stepping in as the 7th Hokage, things for Kabuto and the orphanage has only been getting better, with many buildings and many orphans. He is now working a part of the orphanage as director alongside his childhood friend Orochi, showing us the audience and that there really isn't any motive behind him taking control of the orphanage and the village and becoming evil again, but we don't know, because we've got to remember he was once an orphan himself and he was a good guy at a point, but then Orochimaru corrupted him and he became totally evil. But now he is with his childhood friend and he's doing good things again, and Naruto was an orphan as well and he probably understands Kabuto and knows his feelings, so maybe Kabuto is a good guy. We just don't know. Orochimaru and Kabuto are just too questionable at this point. What do you guys think? Do you think he's gonna become evil in Boruto? Let me know in the comment section below. So in the end, Kabuto is low-key as hell right now. Maybe Itachi Izanami did something more than we know. Maybe the jutsu is that powerful that it changes your whole perspective on life, fam. You know, Kabuto self-reflected, and we've got to repay our respects to Itachi for doing that. I mean, he's saved us. He's a true martyr. Anyway, with the Fourth Shinobi War being over and everything, he got an orphanage and there's not much ruckus in the village because he's actually doing something great for the people, and that's what Naruto is all about, you know, forgiveness and understanding one another. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Smash the like button and tell me in the comment section below also what topic you want us to cover next, because some of you guys have requested this of what happened to Kabuto, and yeah, I've just told everything that you need to know. He hasn't been doing much, to be honest, and I'll check you guys off next time.